Om Gajananam Bhutaganaatisevitam Kapittajambupalasaarapakshitam Umasutam Shoka Vinashakaranam Namami Vigneshwara Pada Pankajam Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sadashiva Samarambam Sankaracharya Madhyamam Asmat Acharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanura Mardhanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Sarva Mangala Mangalye Shive Sarvartha Sadike Sharanye Trayambake Gauri Narayani Namostute Om Sri Vasudhaya Namaha Om Sri Matre Namaha Om Sri Annadhaya Namaha Om Sri Vasudhaya Namaha Om Sri Sachamara Ramavani Sabya Dakshina Sevitaya Namaha Om Sri Kataksha Kinkari Bhuta Kamala Koti Sevitaya Namaha Om Sri Shivasaktya Aikya Rupinyai Namaha Om Sri Lalitambikayai Namaha Om Sri 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 Shantananta Avaduta Sadgurave Namaha Om Shakti Om Shakti Om Parashakti Om Shakti Om Shakti Om Om Shakti Om Shakti Om Parashakti Om Shakti Om Shakti Om Om Shakti Om Shakti Om Parashakti Om Shakti Om Shakti Om Om Shakti Om Shakti Om Parashakti Om Shakti Om Shakti Om Nava Parvati Pataye Hara Hara Mahadeva. Namaste to all. Welcome to session number 2 in the Lalitha Sahasranamam series under the Vande, Vidya, Shankaram program of SPB of North. This month of Adi, as we call in Tamil, and Ashada, North India, is particularly auspicious for Ambal. In many temples, particularly in Tamil Nadu, special pujas are done for Devi. This month, Devi is supposed to be observing a penance towards Lord Shiva. So it's a very auspicious month, and it is a privilege to speak on Lalitha Sahasranamam at this time. And you are also blessed to listen to it during this month. So, in our first session last month, we had introduction of Lalitha Sahasranamam, in which I gave an overview of the origin, the history, and some highlights of Lalitha Sahasranamam, ending eventually with the Dhyana Sloka. Today, we will begin, of course, with Dhyana Sloka, and then later on move on to the stotrams and its meanings in detail. Sri Bhaskar Raya, I mentioned in my last session, he had written a beautiful commentary on Lalitha Sahasranamam called Saubhagya Bhaskaram, which has added many dimensions to the meanings of Sanskrit words contained in Lalitha Sahasranamam. I will cover some of them in my talk. Also, I will include some comments by His Highness Kanchi Mahaperiva, who has talked a lot about Ambal, and I propose to cover as many namas as possible with meanings in every session. So, at one session per month, it may take quite a number of sessions, at least a year, to complete the Lalitha Sahasranamam series. If you like, you can keep a notebook to jot down some notes while I speak. To begin with, I will chant the Dhyana Slokam. When I do that, try and visualize Lalitamba in your mind. That's why I'm adding all these pictures for you to take a look at it, so that when you look at it, you can visualize a picture of Lalitamba in your mind when you chant this slokam, and you see how relevant it will be. I will take this opportunity to explain some of the meanings briefly. In fact, we covered it last time, but maybe due to want of time, we couldn't do it complete justice to that. But in this session, I will give you some highlights of the Dhyana Slokam also, and then proceed to the Stotram part. So let's go to the first slide. You don't have to take notes on the Dhyana Slokam because it is all there on the slide itself. And I'm going to enlarge this so that you can see it in full. Now you can see it in clear. Sindhuraruna Vigraham Trinayanam Manikya Mauli Spurat Tara Naika Shekaram Smitamukim Api Navachoruham Bhanibhyam Alipurna Ratna Sashakam Raktotphalam Bibratim Saumyam Ratna Gadastha Rakta Charanam Jayet Param Ambikam. Such a beautiful Dhyana Slokam. Sindhurarana Vigraham Trinayanam. I mentioned last time the color red has hundreds of shades. Here Ambal's color is described as Sindhura Aruna. It's vermilion color, an orange light. Aruna means like the rising sun. The morning you can see that. Trinayanam, you know, Trinayanam means three-eyed. Who has three eyes? Lord Shiva. But Shiva and Kameshwari are together always. Ardhanarishwara. So Ambal also has three eyes. Manikya Mauli Spurat. Manikya means rubies, and Mauli refers to the forehead or crown. As you know, in Chandra Mauli, one who is holding the Chandra on his Mauli. In this case, Ambal wears a crown studded with rubies. And Tara refers to stars. Nayaka means the chief of stars, which means the moon. Shekaram. Shekhar means crown or crest, like Chandrasekhar. Ambal wears a crescent moon on her crown, like Shiva too. Smita Mukhi. Some people keep the name of Smita, which is smiling face. Always keep a smiling face. You should all derive inspiration from Lalitamba, who always keeps a smiling face. What do you lose by smiling? Nothing. In fact, you have a lot to gain. I think smiling face is an inspiration we should get from Spitamukhi. Mahalavanya Sevati. You know, some people keep the name as Lavanya. It's an embodiment of beauty. Who can really match Ambal's beauty? Apina Vachorham, a splendid bust. Pani Bhyam, Alipurna Ratna Sashakam. Pani really means not water. Like Hindi, it means hand, you know. Like you have Kodanda Pani, Chakra Pani. So it is hand. Ambal hands holds on one hand a jewel cup, which is brimming with nectar. It's a beverage of fermented honey and water. Raktot phalam bibradim. In another hand, she holds a red-colored flower. Saumyam ratna gadastha rakta charanam jayet param ambikam. Ratna, rubies. Gatam is pot. You know, they play the instrument also, it's called gatam. So it's a pot. So Ambal is keeping her foot on a precious pot which contains rare gems. And what do? You are meditating on this super Ambike. So the gist of this is the Divine Mother, you should meditate upon a shining in a vermilion red body with triple eyes, sporting a crown which has rubies studded with the crescent moon, a beautiful, smiling, pleasant face, a splendid bust, one hand holding a jewel cup brimming with nectar, and the other a red flower with a foot on a pot containing gems. You see how beautiful it is. It is a beautiful Dhyana Slokam. You can visualize and you get a great inspiration by even just reading the Dhyana Slokam, not to go for the real Stotram to start. So the next slide, you can see the Dhyana Slokam continues. Yes. Arunam Karuna Tarangitakshim Drisapasankusha Pushpabana Chapam Animadipi Ravritam Mayukaihi Raham Pitsev Vibhavaye Bhavanim. What does this mean? It means I meditate on Bhavani. Bhava refers to Shiva and Bhavani refers to Amba, who, like Aruna, I mentioned it before, who shines like rising sun. Karuna Tarangitakshim. You know, Karuna means mercy. Tarangi means waves. And Akshi means ice. Karuna Tarangitakshim means with eyes that have waves of mercy, not just one, but waves coming in waves of mercy. Dhruta is holding. What is he holding? Pasangusa Pushpa Bana Chapam. Pasangusa means the noose and the gourd, and Pushpa Bana is arrows made of flowers. We will talk about it later in the Stotram also. Bana Chapam. Bana is bow. Animadivi Avritam. Surrounded by 8 siddhis, which includes Anima, Mahima, Lahima, and various devatas. Mayukaihi means the streak or the ray or beam of light that shine, the brightness. Aham means me. Ityeva, accordingly or thereby. Vibhavaye, which refers to the magnanimity of Ambal. Bhavanim of Devi Bhavani. So I meditate on the Devi Bhavani, who shines like rising sun, whose eyes emit eternal waves of mercy, who holds a pasa and angusa in her hands to bind and control us, who holds a bow of sugarcane and arrows of flowers, and surrounded by Ashtasiddhis, who shine like streak of ray. I meditate myself upon such an exalted divinity of Devi Bhavani. And going further to the next part of the Dhyana Slokam, Jayet Padmasanastam Vikasitapadanam Padmapatrayatakshim Hemabam Pitavastram Karakalisatyam Padmambarangim Sarvalankara Yuktam Satadamabhayatam Bhakta Namram Bhavanim Sri Vidyam Shantamurtim Sakala Suranatam Sarvat Sampat Pradatrim. Jayet, Jnanam, you know, Jayet is meditating. I meditate. On whom? On that mother, Padmasanastam, who is seated on Padmasana. It's a lotus pose. It also means that she is seated on a lotus. And lotus and Lakshmi are very closely associated, as you know. Vikasita Vadanam. Again, she possesses a very charming face, Vadanam. Vikasita Vadanam. Vadanam means face, which is also a cause for our inspiration, for our upliftment, for our growth. Again, one more inspiration we get. Padma Patrayatakshim. Padma Patram means leaf. She wears yellow color clothes, Pita Vastram, golden complexion, and she is glowing like a golden light, you know, Hema. Hema means gold, and Va means light. Karakalita Rasathema Padmambarangim. The beautiful body. It's a medium gait, neither too fat nor too thin, with a golden lotus holding in her hand. She attracts everyone. by the appearance. This golden lotus will not wither away. It's a golden because it is not actually a flower, it's gold. Therefore, it continues to glow. Sarva Alankara Yuktam. You know it, very simple. She's adorned herself with all types of Alankara, decorations. And Abharanam is the makes a person, a woman, very beautiful. Satam Abhayatam. No, this Abhaya Mudram. Mudra is the sign. Abhaya Mudra is fear not, kind of protection towards all beings. Bhakta Namram Bhavanim. I am going down to the Divine Mother Bhavani in complete reverence. Sri Vidyam Shantamurtim Sakala Suranatam Sarva Sampat Pradatrim. Sri Vidyam, she is the embodiment of entire knowledge of Sri Vidya. Shantamurtim, very simple to understand. She is a very peaceful form. Sakala Suranutam. Sura means people. She bestows every form of prosperity. Sampat is prosperity, wealth. Here prosperity means knowledge also. So this particular Dhyana Sloka means that divine goddess, you should meditate upon her seated on the lotus with petal eyes. She is golden colored, has lotus flowers in hand. She dispels the fears of all devotees who bow before her. She is the embodiment of peace, knowledge, and is praised by gods and grants every kind of wish that we wish for. So, this again, one more slogan, which is a great inspiration for us to visualize Amba. The last one is this. Sa kunkuma vilepana balikuchumbi kasturikam samantahasitechanam sasarachapa pashankusham asesha janamohinim arunamalya bhushambaram japa kusuma basuram japa vidos maredambikam. Sa kunkuma vilepanam. She is anointed with kumkum. In our dharma, kumkum is very auspicious. That's why we keep kumkumam. Ambal is very pleased with kumkuma offered to her. They do the archana with kumkumam. Alikuchumbi kasturikam. She wears kasturi, which is the deer musk having a particular fragrance. And the bindi, pottu, is enhancing her beauty. And the bees, they're drawn by the fragrance of kasturi. They go around her. Samanta haside chanam hasna. Even in Hindi, you say to laugh, right? Her laugh, very gentle laugh, lovable, wholehearted, beautiful laugh. She looks upon her devotee with such a benevolent smile. Her laugh is visible in her very smiling eyes. Again, the smile is emphasized, in all these slogans. So always keep smiling. You don't lose anything. Sasara chapa pasan kusam. She holds all her weapons, the bows and arrows, the gold and the news. And pasang kushadhara hastadharim. There is a slogan. Pasang kushadhara hastadharim. Describing Amba. Asesha jana mohinim. Jana mohinim. She attracts people. She has the power of universal attraction. Irrespective of whether you believe in her or not, she will find it impossible to avoid her. And instead, you will be attracted towards her. Arunamalya bhushambaram. Again, the red Aruna Mala. Malya is garland. She wears it. And that jewelry is kind of exquisite. Japa kusuma basuram. Kusuma is flower. Japa kusuma is hibiscus flower. She is glowing like the red Bharati, they call it, hibiscus flower. Japa without maredambikam. I meditate on that mother whose eyes are always smiling, who also holds a weapon like an arrow, bow, nose, and the golden hand. And she is glittering with red garlands and ornaments. She has kumkuma on her forehead and is red and tender like the hibiscus flower. So that is the gist of this particular Dhyana Slokam. Now we are going to start the stotras. The first three slokams really deal with Mata's avataram. In our first session, I explained the story of Devi's avataram, and I will be using the words Ambal or Devi to refer to Lalitha Ambika. You see the picture, you can visualize Amba, so beautiful, eye-catching, with flowers all around, and really seated so majestically. I'll recite the stotrams and then give you the meanings of each of these. Om Sri Vatasi Maharajni Srimat Simhasaneshwari Chitakrikunta Sambhuta Devakarya Samudjata. The first three namas, Sri Mata, Sri Maharajni, Srimat Simhasaneshwari, really denote the three great actions, Srishti, Sthiti, and Samharam, performed by the Great Mother. I explained to you this stotram last time. Srishtikartri Brahmarupa Goptri Govinda Rupini Samharani Rudrarupa Tirodana Karishwari Sadashiva Anugrahata Panchakritya Parayana. Actually, Ambal has 5 functions. In this one, we talk about 3 functions, and the rest of the 2 will follow in the coming up stotrams. You find that the first line has got Sri, Sri, Sri. Sri Mata, Sri Maharajni, Srimat. The very first name in Lalitha Sahasranamam refers to the Holy Mother, and she is the source of all creation. The names of all great people, things, and places have the honorific word Sri prefixed to them in our dharma, like Sri Vidya, Sri Chakra, Sri Chaila, Sri Nagar, Sri Rangam, and so on. It is not only people, but even places have got. One thing I'd like to say here about the beauty of Sanskrit word, there is an amazing wealth of words for a single object. Take, for instance, water. In English, there's only one word, water. You cannot replace it with anything else. But in Sanskrit, there are more than 70 words for water. Jalam, Vari, Salilam, Udakam, Toyam, Paniyam, Apaha, Neeram, Kilalam, and so on. So many words just for water, but there's different shades, you know. My wife and I went to Kumbh Mela 3 years back, and my wife wanted to pick up some Ganga water. So there was an old vendor who was selling all these plastic containers, and she asked him in Hindi, "Arey bhai sahab, ye pani le jane ke liye kuch plastic bottle mil jayega?" And he looked at my wife and said, "Mata ji, ye Ganga pani mat kahiye, Ganga jal kahiye." There is a difference between jal and pani. Jal is holy water. You don't say Ganga pani, you say Ganga jal. So the word Sri has got several meanings. One meaning is Sri refers to Lakshmi. You know, Srikant, my son's name is Srikant, and Srikant means referring to Vishnu, because he is so dear to Lakshmi. But the same thing, if you say Sri Kantan, you know, what does it mean? It refers to Shiva. Sri here means snake, because he is holding a snake around his neck. So Sri has got double meaning. It has got Lakshmi, it is also snake. So in this particular case, Sri means auspicious. It refers to wealth and prosperity. And Sri Mata is auspicious, universal mother of all. Now, the historical background to worshipping Devi as mother goddess starts from the time of Adi Shankara. Adi Shankara, an avatar of Lord Shiva himself, he established 6 paths of worship. Many of you know that. Saivam, Vaishnavam, Sauram, Shaktam, Ganapatyam, Kaumaram. Of these, Shaktam is the only path which is related to the worship of feminine deity called Shakti, and that's why he got the name Shaktam. Interestingly, of the 6 paths, This is the only mode of worship reverentially referred to as Sri Vidya with the attribute prefix called Sri. So Goddess Lalitha Devi is extolled as the universal mother, the energizing principle of every creature in this universe. And Lalitha Sahasranamam itself says, Abrahma Kita Janani. She created right from Brahma to even the tiniest worm. Kita means worm. It is also said she created the 10 avatarams of Lord Vishnu. Sahasranama Stotra says, Karanguli Nakotpanna Narayana Dasakratihi. So the action referred here is creation. She is unique. What is the uniqueness of mother? Every creature is born from a mother, small or big. She is a personification of supreme self-sacrifice. A mother goes through a variety of sacrifices right from conception to delivery of the child. She nourishes the child with her own blood, bears it for a length of time, despite all kinds of inconveniences, endures a pain during delivery, and even after delivery tends the child. Is it not sacrifice? You see, mother provides an overwhelming share of child care, both physically and emotionally. The Lalitamba is the supreme mother of all creations. She exists in a perpetual state of perfect harmony, ever benevolent, full of compassion for all beings. Such is the greatness and uniqueness of Lalitamba. You find the name for mother in different languages is almost similar. In Sanskrit, you say Mata, in English, mother, German, Mutter, Latin, Mater, Russian, Mama, Spanish, Madre, Hindi, Ma, and so on. Bhaskaraya gives another dimension of Ma in Mata. He says it is signifying a measure. Like in Hindi, you say map. Map means a measure, right? So she is considered as something beyond measure, limitless, meaning eventually salvation for devotees. So that is the greatness of the first word, Sri Mata. Coming to the next word, Sri Maharajni. It is not Maharajani, but Maharajni. Maharajni, a special word. Supreme Empress. Rajni means queen. She is a great queen, one who controls the entire universe. She is called Parashakti, the supreme power. Para means supreme, superlative. The one who not only created, but also rules and maintains the universe. So the action here is sthiti or preservation. The third one, Srimat Simhasaneshwari, the one who is on a lion seat. You know, you have seen royal thrones. Generally, there are golden figures of lions placed on either end on the handle side. And that's how it's a lion seat. It is reserved for royalty, queen or king. And here, there is actually Bhattatri Narayana. He mentioned this prefix Sri denotes Devi Simhasana is surrounded many Lakshmis. As you know, Devi's Vahanam is lion. And lion is the king of the forest. It's considered to be mighty, full of valor and destructive power. It is feared. Bhaskaraya says Simha also means pain. And many grammarians say the word Simha really came from the root hims or himsai or pain. Bhaskaraya actually adds that the two words himsa and simha might have been formed by reversing the letters. Like the word paschaka, which refers to a seer who sees, to kashyapa. You see, the letters are interchanged. You know, in Tamil Nadu, Madurai is sometimes spoken as Marudai. And Kudurai, which is a horse, is talked about as Kurudai. So himsa is that into which creatures enter at their time of death. So Simhasaneshwari can also be taken as Himsasaneshwari. The action here is samhara or destruction. So the three actions what I mentioned are in this first line itself. So Devi, by the three names, is seen in the three aspects of creator, preserver, and destroyer. From the name 4 to say up to 999, you can say the Lalitha Sahasranamam covers the other two aspects, namely Tirodana Karishwari, Sadashiva Anugrahata Panchakritya Parayana. Tirodana means Maya, illusion. And lastly, Anugraham, conferring the benefits. Tirodana gives bondage, Anugraha removes the bondage, ultimate mukti. So, going to the second line of this, Chidak Nikunta Sambhuta Devaka Arya Samudyata. I mentioned this in detail last time, the one who was born from the altar of the fire of consciousness. Chit is pure Brahman, which is the altar of fire, and it dispels the darkness of ignorance. So Devi came out of the fire of pure knowledge and consciousness to promote what? The cause of the Devas, the divine forces. So you also hear the word Satchidanandam, Satchit Anandam, the bliss that comes out of the combination of Satyam and Chit, which is consciousness. So Deva Karya Samudyata, Markandeya Purana says that Devi is eternal, but she manifested herself for fulfilling the objects of Devas. On seeing the Devi coming from fire, Indra and the Devas were filled with ecstasy. As she came for their job to slay the Asuras, Bandasura and Mahishasura, who were enemies of the Devas. The key intent of Devi's appearance was to enhance the welfare of the whole universe, not merely help the Devas, also but to enhance the welfare. We talked in detail about these two words in the last session 1, so we won't talk more about it. We'll go to the next number 2 verse, which says, Udyadbanu Sagasraba Chaturbahu Samanvita Ragaswarupa Pashadya Kroda Karangusojvala. Udyadbanu Sagasraba. Udyadbanu, Banu is referring to sun. So even with one sunrise, you can see the splendor of red color in different shades. You must really enjoy the sun rising, So beautiful. Every minute the shade will change. But just imagine what magnificent splendor it will be to visualize Sagasraba, 1,000 rising suns. Such a magnificent radiance of the Divine Mother is compared to the splendor of 1,000 rising suns. So Ambal emerges from this bright color. It is a kind of a orange red going to pomegranate red and saffron color. So it is shades of color. And it adduces the fact that during Udyat, which means creating, the rising sun, it's also shown that the energy equivalence at the time of sunrise is extremely high. So the Devi has 3 different forms. One is a physical form, the Sthula Sariram, as they call it. The subtle, which is the Sukshma Sariram, and the supreme, which is Para. The physical form, as you know, has hands, feet, face, etc. The subtle one, it is consisting of mantras. And the supreme one means the Vasana is ideal. It's something to do with the mind. And that is difficult to visualize. The physical form is probably easy to. So the physical form is what is described in the next mantra, Chatur Bahu Samanvita. She is endowed with Chatur means 4 arms, Bahu is palms. And each arm has a tool or a weapon. These are not weapons like you have guns in America or AK-47. No, they don't kill people really. These are meant to do good for devotees, as you're going to learn later. 4 is again a very key number in our dharma. There are 4 yugas, Krita, Treta, Dwapara, Kali. There are 4 stages in human activities, as you know. Dharmartha Kama Moksham, Parampurul Inbam Bida, as they call it in Tamil. Devi's forearms bless us in many ways, which we are going to see now. After mentioning Devi's forearms, the next one describes the weapons she has got. Ragas Parupya Pashadya Krodha Karang Sojvala. There is a nice slogam about Ambal Pasangusanja Varada by Astadarim Pitambarim Kanakamotika Pushitangim, goes a description like that. So here the weapons here is three kinds. One is the pasam, which is a noose. It's a kind of a rope which attracts, binds you. And angusam, pasa angusam. Angusam, you see the elephants, there is a tool. It's a spiked iron stick which is used to drive the elephant, which is called goad in English. And the third one is a bow with arrows. So the noose is really representing Icha Shakti or something, attraction. The goad is a Jnana Shakti. And the bow and arrows, Kriya Shakti. So this is actually given in the Hindu tantric text called Yogina Hridaya. So Raga Swarupya Pasadya. Raga has got different meanings, you know. It has means desire, attachment, anger. In Marathi, you know, Ragavalakai, they ask you, which means, are you angry? So in this verse, Devi is holding a nose or a rope of desire. Desire is what causes bondage or pasam. It is an essential feature for all creatures to survive. Without bonding or pasam, nothing can survive. The moment a baby is born, the mother is so happy, get attached to the baby, clings on to her mom. We have seen this bondage between a mother and a child, between friends, and between a person and his pet dog and pet cat and so on. The nose is a kind of a gross form she holds in her left lower hand, and that actually appears on top left. It's a tool which creates bondage. Krodha karang sojvala. What is krodha? Krodha is really hatred. It also sometimes can mean anger, and some say it also means knowledge. Like Sanskrit word of multiple meaning. Shining with angusam. The goad, which is used to manage an errant elephant, it's a control instrument. Ujvala means, see, she signs holding in her left lower hand the elephant hoop to control hatred and worldly knowledge too. So in one hand, she's holding the nose of desire. At the other hand, she's holding the control instrument. So the concepts used here are very similar to what we read in physics, right? Attraction and repulsion. In the same way, we get entangled by desires and a kind of discriminating attitude we have. To help control the desire and relieve us from the tangled knots of bondage which we experience in our mundane life, Ambal holds the pasam and angusam in her two hands. Pasam representing desire, angusa representing the discriminating mind controlled by Ambal. Whenever the feelings of hatred and anger come to mind, angusam will bring this under control. So let's go to the next slide, stotram 3. Mano rupe chukodanda panchatan matra sayaka nijaruna prabhapura majjad brahmanda mandala. Very beautiful verse. What about I said four arms, right? I described what she holds in two hands, but the other two hands she holds a sugarcane bow and 5 flower arrows. Kanchi Mahaparivar says it very nicely. The bow she holds is made up of sugarcane and arrows are made of flowers. How are bows generally made? They are made of hard iron metals, very strong, like Rama's bow. It should not break, like just when it. On the contrary, Amma has got a bow made of the sweet sugar cane in her hand. How should the arrows be? Arrows also made of metal and sharp. It has to pierce, right? But instead, she is holding floral arrows made of flowers. How is it that it is very contradictory to normal definition of a bow and arrow? So, sugar cane bow represents her heart. Mano rupe chukodanda. Mano. It is her mano rupe ichu kodanda. Ichu means sugar cane. The kodanda is what she is holding in hand. The bow is sweet sugar cane, like her sweetheart. With that sweetheart, Ambal influences our mind by this bow and controls our senses beautifully with 5 flower arrows. More on these 5 flowers, you will find in the next line. Panchatanmatra Sayaka, it says, Panchatanmatra Sayaka, holding the arrows of the 5 subtle elements. Sayaka means in this case arrow, in this case flower arrows. The 5 subtle elements are the 5 senses: sound, touch, smell, taste, and sight. These are called Jnanendriyams, the intellectual ones. 5 sense organs, commonly referred to as ears, eyes, the nose, the tongue, and the skin. So you'll find successful people use these 5 senses in the most intelligent way that leads to success in life. If you are able to use these senses with control, then you can be sure of success. See, just one word, one mantra has so much of meaning. I don't think I have time to really explain this more, but we'll try to at least cover the highlights of it. By a gift of God, these Jnanendriyams perceive senses naturally, and they provide inputs for us to act through 5 other organs, which are called Karmendriyams. Karma is doing work, So the ones that really work, like hands and leg and tongue for speech, the excretory and reproductive organs. So these Karmendriyams are acted upon by the inputs given by the Jnanendriyams. So in all they have 10, but this Panchatanmatra Sayaka, these 5 floral arrows will grab our senses and control them or inactivate them. That reminds me, I have to mention here, I have published a book called Kamakshi. It is a compilation of Kanchi Mahabharata's lectures on Ambad. It has both English and Tamil versions. It can be accessed from my website, easyhinduism.com, easyhinduism.com, one word. And they provide detailed descriptions of Devi. I cannot cover all of them here, but then I thought I'll give you the reference so that you can refer to it anytime. Next line. Nijaruna Prabhapura Vajjat Brahmanda Mandala. Devi is already described as Udyat Bhanu Sahasrava, like 1,000 rising suns. But she spreads the red effulgence or Nija Aruna throughout the whole universe. Majjat Brahmanda Mandala. You see the word Brahmandam, referring to the universe. Long before the modern scientists discovered about the elliptical galaxies, the universe, our ancient scriptures, including the Vedas, talk about Brahmandam, the big egg. Anda means egg, big egg. Sri Rudram, the Dhyana Sloka says, Apatala Rabasthala Bhuvana Brahmandama Vispurate. Brahmandam. That is something really great. Brahmandam. Now, this is word described here too. So, it is the effulgence is spreading all over the universe. Let's go to the next verse, which says, Champaka Shoga Punnaga Saugandhya Lasatkacha Kuruvinda Badisreni Kanat Koti Ramandita. Now, from this verse starts the physical description of Devi. You will find it extremely exquisite. Many exotic comparisons are made. Usually poets do that, to emphasize a particular word, they will compare it something exquisite so that you have an idea how it is like. And as I said, Kesadi Padam, it starts from the head first. In this Stotram, Ambal's beautiful locks of hair and the crown she wears on her head are praised. Lasat. Lasat means the bird play or to appear. Kacha means hair. Lasat Kacha. Devi's hair is adorned with what? Champaka Soga Punnaga Saugandika Lasat Kacha. Champaka flower, Ashoka flower, Punnaga flower. These are all normally flowers which give a lot of fragrance to outside, particularly worn in the hair. It gives a fragrance to the hair. But in this case of Ambal, her shining locks really give fragrance to the flowers in return. So the Lasat Kacha, it plays on the hair and gives a fragrance. The hair gives fragrance to all these flowers. Next line says, Kuruvinda Madisreni Kanat Koti Ramandita. Normally for a crown, we use the word kritam, right? Very commonly known, generally worn by men. But Devi's crown is called kotiram. The speciality of this, it is not hiding the beauty of her hair tresses which fall down. And what kind of a crown it is? It is filled with rows of Kuruvindamani, which is gems. Kuruvindamani, also called Padmaraga, rubies. Mandita, Mandi Kedakrathan Sulva Tamila. Mandi Kedakrathanaka, it is decorated so much so highly decorated. The crown is decorated with rare gems, which are obtained from mines and riverbeds. And, people wear lots of gems and rubies and emeralds and so on, because they believe it confers some benefits, like it confers love, prosperity, devotion. And Bhaskaraya says, if one meditates on Devi wearing these gems, his devotion will increase. So let's go to the next slokam, next slide, which is Stotram 5. Ashtami Chandra Vibraja Daligastala Shobita Mukha Chandra Kalangaba Mriganabi Viseshaka. After hair comes a description of the forehead. In this case, the beautiful forehead of Devi is described. How is it? Devi's forehead is so bright as the Ashtami Chandra. The moon on the Ashtami, 8th lunar day. It's exactly halfway to full moon. Alika Stalasobita means a place where the hair adds beauty to the forehead. Alika Stalasobita, it beautifies the forehead. Mukha Chandra Kalangaba Mriganabi Viseshaka. Kasturi is a musk. Many of you know that. It's a fragrant material which is obtained from a deer, which is Mriganabi. Mriga refers to here deer. And this is obtained from Mriganabi, therefore it's called Mriganabi Viseshaka. And you have a description of Kasturi in for Vishnu, Kasturi Tilakam Lalata Palake Vashtasthale Kaustubam. Don't you describe Vishnu? Same thing here. The Kasturi Tilaka adorns the moonlight face of Amba. Like, it's so beautiful with the fragrance coming. And it's particularly on the moon-like face. Kalangaba, it's actually a spot on the moon. If you see the full moon, it has a dark spot, that looks almost like a rabbit. That's why you call Shashank, Shashi is rabbit. So it's a kind of a dark spot. And the Devi's Tilaka looks like that spot in the moon. That's the meaning of this particular verse. Going further, Vadanaspara Bangalya Grihatorana Chillika Vaktra Lakshmi Parivaha Chalan Meena Balochana. It goes down to the face. Vadana. Vadana. The very, very first word is Vadana. Vadana is the face. The beauty of Devi's eyes and eyebrows are described here. You find women all over the world, they love to beautify their eyebrows. Today you have threading and waxing and coloring and so on. There are so many beauty parlors where they focus on your eyebrows and then make them so beautiful by different processes. Beauty parlors do that, but Amba, she doesn't need a beauty parlor. She herself is so beautiful, she doesn't need any parlor. Smaran here is really referring to Manmatan. He is a Lord of Love, Cupid. Since he came from the mind, he is called Manmatan. The house of Manmatan is called Mangulya Graha. It's the most beautiful house, which is adorned with, called Torana Chillika, Griha Torana Chillika. Torana means, those who were in Tamil Nadu, they know the meaning of Torana. They have the floral decoration typical in any festivity. They hang it around so beautifully. And Devi's face has eyebrows that resemble the archways, which lead to the abode of the auspicious home of Cupid. Grihatorana Chillika, Manmata's home. Devi is also called Meenakshi, Meenalochani. Vaktrashmi Parivaha Chalan Meena Balochana. Meenalochani. It's believed that the fish which move in the water, they always have their eyes on the eggs and the baby fish. The very sight of mother fish makes the eggs hatch and then the later nurtures the babies. It's called Matya Diksha. There are different kinds of protection offered by mothers. I mentioned about Markada Diksha and Markada Nayam and Marjar Nayam last time. But here it's called Matsya Diksha. And Parivaha is a flood of water. The fish love to play in the flowing water, like the fish playing in the flowing water. They keep their eyes on the baby. Devi has her eyes play in the streams of beauty flowing from her face. So beautifully expressed in this particular verse. Okay, let's go to the next one. Nava Champaka Pushpava Nasa Danda Virajita Tara Kanti Tiraskari Nasa Parana Basura. Another beautiful verse. Now we come to the nose and the ornament worn by Devis on her nose. That is described in the stotram. In India, traditional Hindu families, especially in South India, attach a lot of importance to the nose piercing and wearing of diamond nose rings. Some people have on both sides, some people have on one side. It is believed to enhance the beauty of woman and also improve her health. Devi's shapely nose, as you see in this picture, is like a Nava Champaka Pushpam, the freshly bloomed Champaka flower. When it is bud, how it looks like? Small one, very sharp, then it blooms. And it looks like that. The comparison is made with the Nava Champaka Pushpa. But Nasa Danda is the nasal ornament. Virajita means beautiful. This ornament makes Devi's nose look more beautiful. How does this ornament look like? Tara Kanti Tiraskari Nasa Barana Basura. Tiraskari means to disappear. You can also say Tiraskara means to ignore. Here causes disappear. What does it disappear? Basura means light or splendor, like Bhaskar you say, for sun comes from the word Bas, which is light or splendor. The ornament is so beautiful that it completely offsets the luster of a bright star of Tara Kanti. It completely makes it disappear. Going to the next one, Kadamba Manjari Klipta Karnapura Manohara Tatangayukali Bhuta Tapanoduba Mandala. Again, another beautiful description of Devi's ears. Devi is radiant and charming with a bunch of Kadamba flowers, Kadamba Manjari, Klipta Karnapura Manohara, which is filling Karnapura, is filling over the years, the bunch of Kadamba flowers. Tatanga is, in Tamil we call Todu, ear pendants, which you wear here in the lobe. You can see in this picture, the one below, Ambal wearing Tatangam, 2 Tatangams. Yugali means pair. The beauty of Tatanga is coupled with great power in them. They believe it protects the husband. In fact, I want to quote a verse from Saudra Lakari. Karalanyat Shvelam Kabalitavataha Kalakalana Na Shambos Tanmulam Tavajanani Tatanka Mahima. Kanchi Mahaparibha talks a lot about this. So, Karalam means most dangerous, Shvelam is poison. Kabalitavataha is one who swallowed. Who? Shambho, Shiva. Kala Kalana, he has no end or death. Tanmulam is the cause for it. Is Tava, your Tatanka Mahima. The glory of your ear pendants is what really helped Lord Shiva to survive even after he drank the poison. That is the power of Ambal's Tatangam. Such is the power of the Tatangam. They were once upon a time very simple. They are made from the leaves of palm tree, what you call Panai Ole in Tamil. Even today during Varalakshmi Puja, many homes decorate the face of Lakshmi with the maroon color Panai Ole as ear pendants. Tapa Nodupa Mandala. Tapa means hot or refers to the sun. Udupa is moon. Mandala is circle. Devi is wearing the sun and the moon as their ear ornaments. Just imagine wearing the sun and moon as her ear ornaments. So that is this verse. And going further to Stotra 9 now. Padmaragasila darsha paribhavi kapola bhuhu navavidruma bimbasi nekkari radanaschada. Padmaraga. I mentioned it's a gem. It's a clear ruby red in color. Kapolam means the cheeks. Devi's cheeks, how are they? They outshine the beauty of Padmaraga. And the very next line describes the beauty of Devi's lips and teeth. There is a beautiful comparison made here related to the color of Devi's lips. It's so nice. Nava Vidruma means a fresh coral. Coral is a marine gem, It comes out of sea. It is found in intense red color. What you call red coral, Prabal in Hindi or Pavanam in Tamil. It imparts courage and helps people in overcoming fear and nervousness. So that it is compared, Devi's color of lips is compared to this gemstone. It is also compared to Bimbasri. What is Bimbasri? Bimbasri, Bimba, Sri is a fruit that is bright red in color. In Hindi they call Tindora, or Tondli is also another name in Marathi. It's called Kovai Padam in Tamil. People cook the raw green fruit and eat it, but you allow it to become fruit completely ripe and cut it, it will be red, dark red color. The dark red color of the Bimbasri is compared to the Devi's lips, which is natural, and it puts the color of coral and Bimbasri to shame. Nowadays, you find women using different shades of lipstick to enhance their beauty. There are all kinds of colors. It is an adoption from the Western world that we do that, but Devi's lips are so beautiful, they are natural color, which is compared to Bimbasri fruit and also red coral. Shuddha Vidyankurakara Dvaja Bantidayojvala Karpura Vitika Moda Samagashta Digandara. We are coming to the 10th verse now. Suddha, you all know, is pure. Pure. Suddha Vidya means pure Vidya, pure knowledge. Ankurakara, which is fresh buds. Dvija refers to twice born. You know, when the boys are born and they're called firstborn, and then when they have Upanayana, they're called twice born. They're supposed to be having another birth. So Dvija is referred to the brahmachari after he adopts Upanayana. Likewise, even birds are first born as eggs and then they hatch into birdlings. Hence, they are also called Dvija. Here, is refers to the teeth. The first set of teeth that we cut when young, they fall off. Kids, they have the first set falling off, and then we get a second set of fresh, bright teeth. And those teeth are also called Dvija because it is coming again. So Dvija also has another meaning which is explained by Bhaskar Raya. Now, Vidya begins with Vedas with the Brahmins. In turn, Vidya gets spread by Brahmins who are the buds of Vidya. Devi shines with the 2 rows of teeth in the form of bud of pure knowledge. The teeth itself is called Dvija. Bhaskara adds that there are 32 dikshas, or the initiations which are laid down in the tantras. These are called the 2 rows of Brahmins, like 2 rows of teeth. Shuddha Vidyankura, beginning is a certain initiation to be begun before we go into the 32 dikshas. Devi can be attained only by those great men who go through all these 32 dikshas. So here, the Dvichapankti Dvyojvala is referring to the 2 rows of teeth that Ambal has. And the next line is Karpura Vitika Moda. What is Karpura Vitika? It refers to, the fragrance of Karpuram, camphor, which is embedded in Tambulam, which is the Vetalai or betel leaves, or pan you call it. Look at the fragrance. Devi is described as Tambula Purita Mukhi. Generally, we find in India people consume betel leaf pan after a meal, and it has various ingredients. And it's not only a digestive, but it is also a kind of deodorant. So here, Karpura Vitika Moda, she is having the fragrance of chewing the camphor embedded tambulam. Samagarshti Dikantara, the next mantra, it says the fragrance, Akarshi Dikantara, it is pulling or spreading all the dishas. Dig is direction, right? Dikantara means it is spreading all directions, like east, west, etc. So much is the fragrance of a Tambula Puritamukhi. That is, the next verse is number 11. Nija Sallaba Madhurya Venit Batsita Kachapi Mandaspita Prabhapura Majjat Kamesha Manasa. This verse describing the words coming from Devi's mouth. Nija Sallaba. Sallaba means conversation. Sallabam. How is it? Madhuryam. This Madhuram is itself a sweetness. Madhuryam is sweet. And Kachapi is the name of Saraswati's Veena. Saraswati holds a Veena and that is called Kachapi. And it is producing melodious music. It's a musical instrument having strings that produce a beautiful melody. So Devi's speech, the sweet melody of Devi's speech, it puts to shame even the Veena of Saraswati. In short, Devi's speech is so melodious, it is super than Saraswati's Kachapi. Mandasmita, I mentioned before, again, gentle smile, Mandasmita. Prabhapura, she is full of glory. Majjat means drowned. Who gets drowned? The mind of Kamesha. Majjat Kamesha Manasa. Who is Kamesha? Is a contact. Is one with Devi. The mind of Kamesha gets drowned in what? In the fullness of the glory of Devi's sweet smile. When it said the mind is drowned, it means that Devi's glory is unlimited. This verse actually exemplifies the unity of Kamesha Kameshwari or Shiva Shakti Aikyam, as they call it, which is eventually culminating in this Lalitha Sahasranamam. Shiva Shakti Aikya Rupena Samsita. Next verse 12. Anakalita Sadrisya Shubhagastri Virajita Kamesha Baddha Mangalya Sutra Shobhita Kandara. You see, this is talking about Devi's chin and neck. We're going down. Shubhagam means chin. Illuminated by the beauty, Virajita, which I spoke earlier, of Devi's chin, of which Adrishya means the equal is not seen, it's unparalleled. Devi's chin is beyond any comparison because of its unparalleled beauty. Kamesha Baddha, it means tied by Kamesha. Mangal Sutra, Mangal Sutra, the holy marriage thread. Thali, as you call it in Tamil. Sobi the Kantara, beautifully adorned with the Thali, Mangal Sutra, which is tied by Kamesha around her neck. Next verse, we'll go to the next slide, which is 13. Kanakangada Kejura Kamaniya Bujanvita Ratnagraiveva Chintaka Lola Mukta Phalanvita. See here, this verse actually describes Devi's arms. Kanaka means gold. You know the famous Kanakadara stotram composed by Adi Shankara as a brahmachari to help a poor woman, and is showered with gold. Keyura, it's an armlet which is worn here in this. It is a decorative band. You might have seen it in some pictures, the royalty wearing this as an ornament around the upper arm. They've been worn since ancient times. You may see the pictures of kings wearing it. Kamaniya is pretty or beautiful, and Puja refers to the arm. Devi's arms are beautifully adorned with this Keyura or golden armlets. The very next line says, Ratna Graiveva. Graive means referring to, Hayagriva. The Graive is from the neck. So it says Devi's neck is adorned with gem-studded necklace and a locket of pearl hanging from it. Lola. Chintaka is referring to meditation. Now, Bhaskaraya interprets it like Ratnagrave Chintaka are those who meditate on the gem-studded neck. They worship her externally, but not really in their heart. They are kind of middle-class worshippers. The pearl hanging Lola refers to those who are bound by earthly desires. In Agni Purana, it says Lola means change or desire. There are certain kind of worshippers who belong to this kind, and they are kind of lowest class of worshippers. The Muktas are the highest class of worshippers. So, going further to the next slokam, which is number 14, Kameshwara Premaratna Mani Pratipanastani Nabhyalavala Ropa Romali Lata Falakuchatvayi. Devi's bosom described here are two breasts or the price which are offered in return for the priceless gem, which is the love of Kameshwara. And the two breasts seem like the two fruits grown on the creeper, the hair that springs from her navel. So the next verse is number 15. Laksharomalatadhara Laksharomalatadhara Tasamunneya Madhyama Sanabharadalanmadhya Pattabandhavalitraya. So here Devi's waist is so thin that we have to infer it that only from the creeper-like hair which is from her navel. And she wears a golden belt, a belt which is called in Tamil Odyanam, Pattabandha, which is supporting her waist. It actually bends under the weight of her sthanams or breast and make visible the three folds of the skin which is below the bosom, Balitraya, which is three folds of the, it's a Samudriga Lakshman. Aruna Aruna Kausumba Vastra Baspat Kati Tati Ratana Kinkini Karamya Rasana Dama Bhushita. Now, her waist is bright with an intense red color, Aruna Aruna. Aruna, I explained before, which is a garment which is intense red. It is decked with a belt, Udyanam, I said, which is beautified, Ratna Kinkini, which means small jewels, Kinkini. Kinkini means it's making the sound kinkini, therefore it's a small bell. They are around. Now the Udyanam is an ornament which is being worn by traditional women in India. Mostly, I think they wear it on occasions like weddings or festivals, not on a daily basis. I still have one that was worn by my mother. It has tiny bells too. It was worn during her wedding, and some vacations she will use it. So this is Ratana Kinkini Karimya Rasana Dhama Bhushita. So that is describing her golden belt, which is the waist is the bright red and beautified by the Odyanam. Next line, we're going to be the next slide, which is 17. Kamesha Jnata Saubhagya Martrabhoru Dvayanvita Manikya Mukutakara Janudvaya Virajita. This verse, goes on to describing Ambal's legs. Uru means referring to the thighs. The symmetry and the smoothness of her thighs are only known to Kamesha. Kamesha Jnata means only Kamesha knows it. Her knees, Janu Dvaya, Janu is knees. Janu Dvaya means two. They shine like jeweled crowns, Manikya Mukuta. I think it refers to the knee caps, which looks like jeweled crowns on her knees. In Latin also, knee is termed as Jenu. Some similarity there. There is a word called Ajanu Bahu, which means a huge figure. Ajanu Bahu means one who has hands extending right up to the knees. Ajanu Bahu, they call it, right? Some people use it in Tamil. Next verse. Indra Gopa Parishtipta Spanatuna Guda Gulpa Kurma Prishta Jayishnu Pramadanvita. Jankika refers to the calves, the portion below the knees and the ankle. You can call it a shin area, it's also called shank. Tuni, Tunaba Jankika. Tuni is the quiver, you find a circular case for keeping the arrows behind. You can see it in the pictures of Rama and Lakshmana carrying the quiver on their backs. They put the arrows in that. Parishipta means surrounded or overlaid. Devi's scarves are like the sapphire-studded quiver of Manmata, who is the god of love. The arrows actually point downwards in the quiver. In this case, we can interpret that the arrow's sharpness would be compared to the Devi's toenails, which can be considered as arrow ends, sort of. Gulfa is an ankle bone. Guda Gulfa means hidden ankle bone. Kurma Prishta. Kurma is tortoise and Prishta is the backside. How is the backside of tortoise? They are kind of arched, like the. So here, the ankle bone is compared to the hidden ankles of instep, which are arched like the back of a tortoise. That is a comparison made here. So we are going to the next slokam, which is Stotra 19. Nagaditi sanchanna namajjanatamo guna padatvaya prabhajala parakrita saroruha. We are now coming to the description of Devi's feet. You can see the picture of Devi's feet there. Naka. Naka is referring to the nails, nakam. The bright rays from her nails, they dispel the darkness, what is called tamoguna, of her worship. Namajjana, those who worship with the darkness or ignorance, what is tamoguna, the nagaditi sanchanna, the brightness or rays from her nails, they dispel, they destroy the tamoguna of worshippers. Who are these worshippers? They are including Brahma and Vishnu and others also. The meditation on her feet, you can see the feet is given a lot of importance in Sanatana Dharma. We worship Padukas. Bharatan took Rama's Padukas and kept them on the Simhasana. But Western culture is different. In fact, the feet is looked down upon when people will say they want to swear at somebody, they say, my foot, they call it, which means it is such a lowly organ. But it is totally different in Sanatana Dharma, where we worship Padukas in the feet. We fall at the feet of people. And the glory of lotus feet is described in many, many scriptures. One example is Sri Pada Saptati. There are 70 exquisite verses in Sanskrit in praise of Devi's holy feet. It's actually composed by Sri Narayana Bhattatri, of the famous Narayanam composer. Even after he composed Narayaniyam, he was not content, he was not happy. Then Ambal appeared in his dream and said, go to a place called Muktisthala and look at the Ambal there, Vishnu, Durga. It is a place, Muktisthala, very near Guruvayur. In fact, I gave a talk on this Saptati in Chicago, the Kalibari temple. You can see it in the YouTube. It's a 1 hour lecture on just Sri Pada Saptati. On these feet, he has composed 70 beautiful verses. And Ambal's feet, very interesting dialogue between two great scholars, Appaya Dikshidhar and Nilakanta Dikshidhar. Appaya once asked Nilakanta, Apati Kim Karaniyam? During calamity, what should one do? Nilakanta answered, Smaraniyam Charana Yugala Ambayaha. Remember the lotus feet of Devi. Then Appaya continued, Tat Smaranam Kim Gurute? What will that memory do for me? And Nilakanta answered, Brahma Denabi Kinkari Kurute. It makes even gods like Brahma to be your servant and help you. That is the greatness of Ambal's feet. Smaraniyam Charana Yugala Ambayaha. So this is a very interesting thing. And this kind of thing, the feet, remembering the holy feet itself, will give you a great inspiration. It gives you above all humility, Vinayam as they call it. And the moment you look at the feet here, displayed here in this picture, you will get that humility in yourself. and you'll be inspired by the sparkling rays coming out of the feet of the Holy Mother. So even Devas and Brahma Devi, they will help you, and they will help you with all this. So the next line reads, Padatvaya Prabhajala Parakrita Sarurha. The two padams, Padadvaya, Dvaya, feet Prabhajala, it's a beauty, Parakrita Sarurha. They actually shame the lotus. The soles of her feet, by their beauty, just shame the lotus. So beautiful it is. We will go to the verse 20 now. Sinjana Mani Manjira Mandita Sri Padambuja Marali Manda Gamana Mahalavanya Sevati. You can follow the slogan in the slide. Her lotus feet is how it is. You can see the picture. It is adorned with jeweled anklets, what we call golusu in Tamil. It is anklets. That is so beautiful, and it has got small, small bells in it. It's a tinkle, Sinjana Mani Manjira. Mani means small bells. They kind of tinkle. There's a big story, but I don't have time to tell about this. But these jeweled anklets are supposed to add a lot of beauty. When Ambal walks, this makes little sound of tiny bells. Marali Mandagamana. Marali is referring to Hamsapakshi, or a female swan. You have seen how the swan swims in the water so gently, so gently, nicely. It's a very elegant and gentle manner. So Devi's gait is very slow and gentle like a swan. Marali Mandagamana. And Mahalavanya Sevadihi. It's a treasure house of great beauty. You can see, when you see swan, you get inspiration. You will remember this line, Marali Mandagamana, when you see the swan really, swimming across the water. Say they are very gentle and very elegant. So this is a comparison of Devi, how she walks. So we are coming to almost the end of the stotrams now. We are going to the last one. Sarva Runanavatyangi, Sarva Bharana Pushita, Shiva Kameswarangastha, Shiva Swadhina Vallabha. This verse, it actually sums up Ambal's beauty. It's a beautiful one-line summary. Sarva Aruna. Aruna is being mentioned here. Rosy red, hued all over. All over means what? Our garments, our limbs, our ornaments, everything is Sarvaruna. It's kind of so rosy red. Anavatyagi. Anavatyagi means no fault, with faultless limbs. Sarva Bharana Bhushita. Some of these words are simple and you can understand. Abharanam means the ornaments. Sarva Bharanam means all types of ornaments. Bhushita means she's adorned. So she's adorned with all types of ornaments. We describe them in detail, right? It is said that there are at least 40 ornaments. 40 ornaments which are adorning Ambal from head to toe. Maybe more, I don't know. At least 40. So that is the description of Ambal in one line. Sarva Runana Vadyangi, Sarva Bharana Bhushita. And it ends up with the line Shiva Kameswarangastha, Shiva Swadhina Vallabha. With that one, actually, the description of Devi's physical form ends. Shiva is the most auspicious, as you know, the beneficial. And Devi is one who does good, hence called Shiva. She's also called Shiva, also Samhari. And she possesses exactly the same excellent qualities like Shiva. She is identical with Shiva. Shiva Kameswarangastha. And she is Swadhina Vallabha. Shiva Swadhina Vallabha. Swadhina Vallabha means she has won over her Lord. She is excelling over all. Without her, Shiva is powerless. I want to quote the first verse of Saundarya Lahari here because it really says a lot about what is the power of Shakti. Shiva Saktya Yukto Yati Bhavati Saktaha Prabhavitum Na Chedevam Devo Na Kalikusalas Panditumapi Atasvam Aradyam Harihara Virinchadi Berapi Pranantum Stotum Va Katamakrata Punya Prabhavati. It's the very first of Saundarya Lahari, which says Lord Shiva becomes able only when Shakti joins her. She cannot do anything without Shakti. To do creation in the world, along with the Shakti, without her, even an inch she cannot move. So, how can one who does not do any meritorious good deeds, or one who does not praise Ambal, become really qualified to worship her? O goddess, who is worshipped by the Trinity. So that is the power of Amba. She is actually lending power to Shiva to do all the work. So this is the Shiva Kameswarangasta. The identity of Shiva and Kameshwari is being stressed here in the last line. So with this verse, we have come to the end of Devi's physical description, and we have also completed 54 namas. 54 namas, and we would love to continue this in the next session. So at this time, I think it's time to conclude. I see Soma Venkat waiting for me.
No, I'm fine. No, I wanted to add one thing, Guruji. Very excellent.
Yes.
I'm not waiting. I'll let him talk about, but you said that beautifully about Shakti is the power given to Shiva. In Tamil, there is jokingly, they say, Vadamla Shakti ilana Shivane nirundra vendidan.
Correct.
So if you don't have Shakti, just stay as you are. Such a beautiful statement on that. Thank you.
Yes.
And any...
Yes. So with that, we complete the 54 namas, and I'm concluding this session as usual with the verse Om Shakti Om Parashakti Om Shakti Om Shakti Om Shakti Om Shakti Om Parashakti Om Shakti Om Shakti Om Shakti Om Shakti Om Parashakti Om Shakti Om Shakti Om Shakti Om Shakti Om Parashakti Om Shakti Om Shakti Om Om Sri Matre Namaha. So until we meet next month, I wish you all a very happy Adi month, and please do recite these at home and be blessed by Devi. Thank you all very much. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you, Guruji. Just drenched with exalt verses of this Lalitha Sahasranamam. So beautifully explained by you. So thanks for participating in this event today. The next lecture will be on August 15th. So thank you all. Soma, you want to say a few words?
No, I'm good. I think perfectly right. Thank you. And if there are any questions, I don't know whether you want to share the slide, Tim.
Yeah, I'm good.
You can share that. And if there are any questions, feel free to send a mail to lslectures@svbfnorth.org. I think Tim will share the slide.
So not merely questions. If there are any suggestions or comments also, they are welcome. They are welcome. Any comments, most welcome, because we would like to tune this future thing to match the expectations of our viewers. You know, the time element, whether I'm going fast or slow, whether the explanations need to be elaborate or somewhat condensed, even those kind of comments are most welcome.
I'm going to share, I think the sound is not coming.
Oh.
I don't think it is being shared. I think, Guruji, you have to stop sharing.
Okay, I'll stop sharing. Okay.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you. Thank you.
Okay, I just wanted to add this line that Not only questions, but even comments are most welcome.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you for watching today.
Mangalam Guru Shri Chandramaulishwar ke Shakti Ganapati Sharadambige Shankaracharya ke Shakti Ganapati Mahaganapati Sharadambige ke Kala Bhairavar ke काली दुर्गै के वीर धीर शूर हनुम मारुति चरण के मल्लिकार्जुन के செல்வ ஜனார்தனர் கே அம்பா பவானி கம்பத கணபதி சண்டி சாமுண்டி கே ஸ்ரீ கிருஷ்ண பகவான் கே ஸ்ரீ चक्रवासिनी के सीताराम लक्ष्मण सहित मारुति चरण के विद्यारण्यर के विद्याशंकर के वागीश्वरी के वज्रदेग गरुड़ आंजनेयर के श्रीवल्ली देव सेना समेत सुब्रमण्यर के तुंगभद्रै के श्रृंगनिवासिनी के श्रृंगेरी पुरिயில் நிலைத்திருக்கும் எங்கள் சாரதாம்பிகை के सच्चिदानंद शिव अभिनव नृसिंह भारती के श्री चंद्रशेखर भारती गुरु सार्वभौमर के श्री चंद्रशेखर भारती गुरु विद्यातीर्थर के श्री चंद्रशेखर भारती गुरु भारती तीर्थर के श्री चंद्रशेखर भारती गुरु विदुशेखर भारती के मंगलम गुरु श्री चंद्रमौलीश्वर के शक्ति गणपति शारदाम्बिक शंकराचार्यर के शक्ति गणपति महागणपति शारदाம்பிகை के श्रृंगेरी पुरिயில் நிறைந்திருக்கும் எங்கள் சாரதாம்பிகை के
Thank you all.
Thank you all. Thank you again. Until we meet next month. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Om Shri Matre Namaha.